Hola, Mexico! Andreas, they just told me backstage that I get 45 minutes. 45 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. There are times in life when you cannot trust the experts. And you've heard many experts at this conference. When I was born, the doctors, the experts, told my parents that I wouldn't live the first 24 hours of my life. Now, all those expert doctors are dead, and I'm 31 years later, and I am presenting in Mexico. You've heard from some of the brightest minds on the planet. You have heard from some of the biggest and best in the industries of technology, spirituality, evolution. So, what am I here for? Why are you listening to me? I am here for one purpose. I am an expert on only one thing, and that's how to be me. And I do it well. And I am here to teach you how to be you and do it well. Is that something you would like to learn? I've studied a good portion of my life. I'm about ready to complete my PhD, and I can tell you that knowledge is not everything. There is something bigger than knowledge, and that is heart. Corazón? Yes? Thank you. And I am here to teach you how to love yourself. Because I find that most people do not love themselves. It doesn't matter what you look like, how much money you have, or where you come from. If you are not enjoying your life, then all of the ideas that you learned here, what good are they? I am here to help you take all of these ideas and bring them into your heart so that you can enjoy your life. Your life will be over faster than you realize. And I hope in the time that I have to share with you information so that you can enjoy this time, so that you can wake up. As a therapist, I've learned that we all share one thing in common. Mexicans, Americans, Europeans, Africans, every part of the world shares one thing in common, and that is emotion. Barring neurological damage, most of us have access to our emotions, and that's what makes us human. That's what makes life worth living. But sadly, many of us do not know how to control our emotions. Many of us allow our emotions to control us. But if you want to live a life of beauty, a life of passion, I heard Mexico loves passion. Yes? See? You must embody what I am about to tell you about emotion. All human beings, we all kneel over graves and cry. We all get nervous and scared when we tell someone for the first time, I love you. We get scared when the doctor gives us news about ourselves or our family that is not good. We all have emotion, but I am here to tell you, you must celebrate your emotion. and you must control it and use it for the good of humanity. I don't care what part of the world you're from, you are powerful beyond measure. Right now, you are hearing my voice, and you might think that it's the only voice speaking in this room right now. It is not. There are thousands of voices in this room speaking right now. I'm talking about that little voice inside each of you. It's that little voice that says, "What voice? I don't have a voice. This little man is loco, but sexy." I only have 14 minutes. Shh. We all have to take control of that voice inside of us. Because it's that voice that is a child. Is it a little child? And if you were to say mean things to that child and abuse that child and neglect that child, is it any wonder that sometimes we set goals and we sabotage ourselves? Why? Because the child has been ignored. The child inside of us does not feel loved. And so the child messes with us to get our attention. I learned about this child that lives inside each of us when I started to study psychology and started to study the impact of words that the child uses inside of our minds and in our hearts. I once was in college, and I had a child psychology course where I had to take 40 children between 5 and 12 years old. And I was working with them, and I was teaching them valuable lessons about loving yourself, about being good to your neighbor, about being kind. And as I'm teaching them, something comes flying at my head and hits me. It was a zapato, a shoe. In America, zapatos don't fly. And I'm looking around. No, shoes, no shoes. You very angry, I'm very angry. Now let me ask you a question. If someone threw a zapato at your head, by a raise of hands, how many people would throw the shoe back? Yes. Yeah, we would get mad and angry. But what I learned is as I got to know this child's father had killed this child's mother. And this child was screaming for attention. He was screaming for me to love him. And I learned that we must be loving through our words. There's a saying in America that says, "That should go without saying." Oh, that should go without saying. But I believe we must tell everyone that we love each other. In America and Mexico, we share borders, and our politicians debate about how to handle those borders. What about handling it with love? What about seeing that there is no such thing as countries? At the end of the day, we are all human because we all share emotion. And I learned that if we are truly to love each other, if we are truly to make an impact on the world, we cannot be victims. Victim believes that things are outside of their control. Oh, this happened to me. Oh, poor me. Do you know what I'm saying? Yes? Yes. Victim mentality is what causes us to be enslaved. Victim mentality, believing that things are outside of your control and there's nothing you can do. It's not your fault, it's your mother's fault. It's your father's fault. It's the teacher's fault. It's the government's fault. It's God's fault. It's evolution's fault. I love you, Richard Dawkins. I love you. We cannot blame. We cannot blame because blame equals victim. Victim believes that there's nothing I can do. What is the alternative? That is to be a victor. A victor believes that they are not slaves of their circumstances, that they are empowered by their circumstance. Think about this. I am little. I am in a wheelchair. If I wanted to, I could cry. I could feel sorry for myself. And most of you would let me do that. But I am here to tell you, if I felt sorry for myself, what good would I do for myself? What good would I do for this audience? And what good would I do for the planet? I would have no power, would I? So I learned something at a young age. That it is not the facts of your life that matter. It is your interpretation of the facts that matter. I am little and in a wheelchair. Thank you. The fact, I am little. Fact, I use a wheelchair. Fact, I am disabled? No. That is an interpretation. That is a judgment. That is a label that I do not accept. Whatever label has been put on you that puts you down, I say throw it away. I say you deserve to be more than any label ever put on your heart, your body, or your mind. For if we are going to rise up as a people, we must let go of our labels and see ourselves as unlimited. But I have not always felt this. I have not always shared this opinion. I have not always interpreted the facts in such a way. I want to take you back in time. To when I was in 4th grade. And in 4th grade, it was Halloween. You call this Day of the Dead? Halloween? It's different, but you understand Halloween, yes? Yes. In America, we get candy, and we dress up in costumes. And I loved Halloween, because it was the one day of the year where I got to blend in. And in my wheelchair, I sometimes would get out of my wheelchair and be on the floor. And I would roll around with excitement. And my mother was in the kitchen making my lunch. And I was rolling around in my costume. And I was saying to myself, oh, you look so good. I can't wait to show this off to my friends. And as I'm rolling around on the floor, I catch my left leg on the door. I bend it back and I break my leg. It snaps. And whenever a bone breaks in my body, there's a bit of a delay in time between hearing the sound of the snap and feeling the pain. And my temperature rises, and sweat begins to burn into my eyes. And my breathing becomes irregular. And I am holding my leg. And I scream something every one of us has thought or said. I said, why me? What did I ever do to deserve this? And my mother, she comes running in the room, and she kneels down beside me, and she says, shh, Sean, relax. And my mother would play this little game with me anytime I would break a bone, to take my mind as far away from the pain as possible. She would say, Sean, what was your favorite part about our last vacation? Except that day, I was angry. I didn't think that what I had to go through was fair. I'm sure you can relate. And she could see that in my eyes. So she leaned back and she formulated a question that changed the course of my life forever. Sean, is this going to be a gift or a burden in your life? I thought, is she loco? A gift. A gift. It comes on Feliz Navidad. We go, woo! A gift. But something happened. Something that no scientist or theologian could explain. For it was my experience that I would like to share with you. This warm wind of wisdom came rushing into the room, surrounding my body. And then I had clarity. I realized I loved my life amidst all of my pain. And maybe the purpose of my pain was to teach others that they could live amidst their pain and still love their life. My mother taught me one more valuable lesson that day. She said, sweetie, pain is inevitable. It touches us all. Suffering is optional. You have a choice as a person to continue to make yourself feel bad and beat yourself up, or you could look for the gifts inside of your pain. You could start saying things like a best friend, like a lover. You could empower yourself through that little voice. Because I realize we all break. Every single one of you has breaks, fractures in your marriage sometimes, your business, your health, raising your children. And if when you break, you say, oh, I am a victim, oh, poor me. Why does this always have to happen to me? Or you have choice to say, no, I am a victor. I interpret the facts. I interpret the labels. I decide with this time that I have what I am going to do. Because I want to tell you my most important secret, my most valuable thing that I can bring to your beautiful conference. Listen closely and remember it forever. Fairness is an illusion. No one got a better life than you. No one got more or less than you. No one got a better body than you, a better set of parents than you. They got different things. And how you interpret those differences, are what is going to decide the future of your life and all of those lives that you will come into contact with. I believe we cannot sit back as a people or a country and say, why Why me? I say we stand proud and we say, now is the time for me to seize the day, seize my life. Thank you very much.